Testing, testing, one, two, three. Testing, testing, one, two, three. Alright, what's up, YouTube? It's the J-Rex here. We are going to talk about how proof that Americans are broke. And this right here will be if there are people that still want to believe that everything is fine, everything's perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong, this will be solid proof that no, everything is not fine and there's something seriously wrong and the economy has hit the pooper. So, but yeah, and that right there, the proof right there is gold. Gold is your solid proof, a solid indicator of what is wrong with the economy, or what's going good with the economy, or what's going bad with the economy. Gold is money. I don't know if anybody can see this. I've been collecting gold. I don't know, I collected all I needed with silver, so now I want to move into gold now. So yeah, gold is nice. The color is really nice. It's really pretty. I don't know. I really like gold. So, um, but yes, gold is money. Gold is money. And how do you measure an economy? How do you measure how good or how bad an economy is doing? Well, the economy runs off of money. So money would be a good indicator if the economy is doing good or not. Do people have money? Is an economy doing good or is an economy doing bad? Do people have money? I mean, that right there, if people don't have money, if everybody is broke, the economy is not doing good. If everybody has money, and everybody's rich, the economy is doing good. I mean, would anybody agree or disagree? So, yeah. If people are broke, if everybody is broke, the economy is doing bad. If everybody is rich, the economy is doing great. So I think that would be a great way to measure the economy. But yeah, gold is money. People are like, why is gold money? The dollar is money. The dollar is not money. The dollar is currency. Now you can Google this, you can YouTube this, just like search this and you'll find hundreds of thousands of articles explaining why gold is money and the dollar is currency. The dollar, the yen, the euro, these are all currencies. They're all currencies. They're not backed by anything. They are worthless pieces of paper. All right? Gold is real money. Gold is God's money. All right. So, just look it up. Look it up. Google it. Gold is, I mean, I think everybody here knows on some sort of level, on a basic fundamental level, that gold is money. Gold is valuable. I mean, I can go and explain the seven principles of what constitutes money and all that. I can go into all that, but that would take forever. I'm just here to explain to explain proof that Americans are broke now. But gold is God's money. I think everybody here knows that on some sort of level. Gold is real money. So, not the dollar. The dollar is a worthless piece of paper. The dollar is supposed to be backed by gold. So, the dollar was supposed to be as good as gold. The dollar was supposed to be like money because the dollar was backed by money. You could take your $20 bill to the bank and you could trade your $20 bill for a gold coin. So like it was supposed to be money, the dollar, but now it's just worthless fiat currency backed by nothing, just a worthless piece of paper. Not even a worthless piece of paper. It's now it's like it's just people don't even have dollars anymore. They just have like debit cards now. They just swipe their plastic on a machine and call it a day. People don't even have worthless pieces of paper anymore. Now they just have absolutely nothing. Just swipe the card on a reader, on a swipe the card on a card reader, and yeah, call it a day. So yeah, it's crazy. People don't even have worthless paper anymore. Now they just got nothing. So, but okay, here is the solid proof that that Americans are broke. So, how much money does your paycheck get you? The annual salary of an American, annual salary, or just like a person, the annual salary of a person, of a working person, annual salary, annual salary, was it of annual salary 2025? So, the average annual salary in the US for 2025 is $66,000 pretty much. So, 2025, $66,000. That is how much the average American makes in America. Now, how much now, but we can't go off of dollars. Dollars are not reliable. Dollars are fluctuating. Dollars is subject to inflation. Dollars, they just like it fluctuates like crazy. It just goes all over the place, and it's like it's subject to inflation. The government can print thousands upon thousands of millions of billions of trillions of dollars and just make the dollar worthless overnight. We cannot go off of dollar numbers. It's not stable. It's not reliable. Um, Gold gives you a clear picture. Gold is stable. Gold is reliable. Why is gold reliable? Gold is reliable because there's only so much gold that is available. There's only so much gold that you can get. There's only so much gold in the ground. There's only so much gold on planet Earth. There is a finite amount of gold on this planet. There's only so much you can get. Dollars, you can print dollars like there's no tomorrow. You can just add a bunch of numbers type a bunch of numbers on a computer screen and call it a day and be like, "Oh yeah, that's how many dollars there are now." You know? Like you can just type who knows what they do? I don't know. Printing it out of thin air, typing it up out of thin air. Who knows what the bankers are doing now, man? They've completely destroyed the dollar. Like totally destroyed the dollar. So who knows? But gold, you cannot print the dollar. You cannot, or gold, you cannot print. You cannot print gold out of thin air. All right, you actually have to work to get gold. You got to dig it out of the ground. You got to process the gold. You got to turn the gold into gold, and it's just like it requires work. It requires energy. You got to mine the gold. So, and so gold is more reliable. Gold is stable. I like the way that Tom Dyson puts it. Like gold is like putting on a pair of glasses. Like gold gives you the clear picture of what's going on. So The dollar is a dollar. The dollar is currency. Gold is real money. How much real money does $66,000 actually gets you? Calculator. How much real money is $66,000? Gold is $3,300 right now. $3,300. So, an annual salary of $66,000 gets you 12 gold coins per year. That is our measurement. Now, 20 gold coins. Now, you would think, oh, 20 gold coins. That's pretty good. I suppose that's pretty good. I mean, it's better than nothing, but compared to how we were before, we were way more wealthier before. And compared to the past, compared to the old days, the good old days, Americans are broke today compared to the good old days. Like, we are broke compared to how rich we were back then. Let me show you. All right. 1900. Let's go to 1900. All right. 1900. Annual salary 1900. Okay, the average American worker earns between $200 and $400 per year. This translates to roughly $6,000 when adjusted for inflation. Okay, we're just gonna go off of we're not. I don't know what kind of measurements they're using for the inflation numbers, but we're just gonna go off the actual numbers. We're gonna go off the actual numbers, like so. And we're gonna go off the actual gold price, so there's no misinterpretation. Working class males, about $453 annually. 22 cents per hour. Now, 22 cents per hour. Like, what? Now, you would think, oh man, they were poor back then. Were they poor? Let's look. Bartenders earned $400 per year. Servants, $100. Surgeons, $1,000. Journalists, $900. Okay, we'll just go off of the working class males. $453 annually. So we're gonna go 450. This was how much they actually made back then. Now, let's go off. What was the price of gold back then? The price of gold, I'm pretty sure it was $20. Price of gold. The price of gold back in the 20s was $20. Or no, the price of gold back in the 1900s. Oh, they don't have it. Damn. I'm pretty sure it was $20. Yeah, the price of gold was $20, pretty much. The U.S. Gold Standard Act. Alright, gold was $20. Gold was at a very stable price back then because we were on the gold standard. So when you're on the gold standard keeps the government in check because there's only so much money that you can spend because you are on the gold standard. The gold standard is like there's only so many dollars that you can print out of thin air. There's only so many dollars that you can create. There's only so many dollars that you can spend because the dollar has to be backed by gold. So the gold standard kept the government in check and stopped the government from just ridiculously spending hundreds of trillions of dollars out of thin air. It prevented the government from doing so. How much gold did it get you? 22. Wait, really? 22? That's it? No. Really? Okay. 22 gold coins. So in 1900, $450 got you about 22 gold coins. So we were a tiny bit wealthier back in 1900. 1900 we were a tiny bit wealthier. But the thing is though, 1900 1900 was considered a shitty time. 1900 was considered a shitty time, and 1900 was considered a time where standard of living was very poor. Americans had like a poor standard of living. Quality of life was not very good according to history. So like quality of life was very low, and just I don't know. It was considered like a crappy time. I think it was like that was like around the time like the industrial age. The industrial age, that was a time where like I don't know, people were like living on the streets, weren't they? People were like living on the streets and like sleeping in the slums or something. Like the industrial age was considered like a shitty time, right? Where people slept on the streets and they just slept in the slums, and I don't know. Like so we are making less today than what was considered poor back in 1900. Like a lot of historians today considered 1900 to be a poor time where Americans were poor and had a poor quality of life. And like they slept on the streets and they slept in the slums. And the industrial age. So it was considered a poor time. And we are making less than what they made now. We are making less now than what was considered poor back in 1900. So, but something happened. In the 1920s. The 1920s, I think, was the peak of America. We were so wealthy. And you are about to find out how wealthy we were. Annual salary, 1920. No, did the internet go out? Oh my god. Great, the internet went out. The year 1920 and the year 2025 still cannot get reliable internet out here. I'm gonna have to connect to my phone internet. Just paying $100 a month for this crappy internet. Gonna have to connect to my phone internet. All right, good to go. 1920. The average income reported to the IRS was $3,269 per year. All right, now people are thinking, "Oh, that's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of only they only made $3,000 a year. That's not a lot of money." All right, well let's find out how much money that actually was. Wow, just a huge jump. How did it jump from $4,000 to $3,000? That's a huge jump. All right, how much in real money did $3,200 actually get you? Gold was $20. an ounce back in 1920. $160 gold coins. 1920. Was 160 gold coins. Look at that. Look at that. 1900, 22 gold coins. 1920, 160 gold coins. 160 gold coins. I need to say this like repeatedly multiple times. 160 gold coins. Your paycheck in 1920 got you 160 gold coins. Like, holy crap. A gold coin. Imagine this. Imagine this. Imagine 160 of these. Except this is silver. Imagine this is gold. Imagine this is gold. You got 160 of these. That boggles my brain. That boggles my brain. 160 gold coins. Does anybody know how much 160 gold coins is? 160 gold coins times 3,300. $500,000. $500,000? What? No, this is insane. The average American back in 1920 made $500,000 1 year? Dude, $500,000 in 1 year. That is how rich we were. That is how rich we were. In the year 1920, we made just 1 year, 500,000. You worked for 2 years, you would be a millionaire. Only you worked 2 years in 1920, in the 1920s. You would have made, you made $1 million. You're a millionaire. That's how rich we are. Why do they call it the Roaring 20s? That's why they're called the Roaring 20s. The Roaring 20s was the peak of America. That's when quality of life was peak. What would I do with $500,000? What in the world would I do with $500,000? Jesus Christ. You know how long somebody would have to work to make that kind of money now? Like, Jesus. Like over here, the average person only makes like $40,000 a year, $30,000 a year. Over here in Texas, like, Jesus Christ, you know how long somebody have to work to make $500,000? Like, dude, I'm in shock. Like, that is shocking. Making who here make if somebody here made $500,000, how happy would that make you? If you made $500,000 a year, how happy would that make anyone? But this was not even the true peak. Let's get to the real peak. 1925. This was the peak. This was the peak. This was the peak of the peak of the peak. That's the peak of America. This was like as good as it gets. $5,000. $5,400. So it went up even more. And it was price of gold, 1925, still $20. $20. Lord have mercy, 270 gold coins, 1925. This was as good as life is going to get. This is as good as life is. $5,400 equals 270 gold coin. You guys are gonna, your mind is gonna blow when you see how much that is in today's dollars. Okay, how much is the price of gold now? 270. Oops. 270. The price of gold right now is 3,300. That's $800,000, guys. $800,000. The average American in 1925 was making $800,000 a year. A year. 1 year. 1 year. You work for 1 year. You are a millionaire. I'm telling you guys, like 1920s was the peak of America. We were so fabulously wealthy in the 1920s. We were on a gold standard back then. The gold standard was keeping the government in check. The gold standard was stopping the government from spending so much money. And because the government was kept in check, America became a very rich country, was a very wealthy country. The government was not spending all of our money, making us all broke. All right? Like they were kept in check. And because they were kept in check, America became a very wealthy, very rich nation. $800,000, guys, 800. What would you do with $800,000? What would you do? This was how much the average American made. We're not even talking like the top 1%, the elite. We're not even talking about the elite. This is the average American made $800,000 1 year. This is equivalent to about $98,000 in today's dollars. No, it's not. Where do you guys get your numbers from? How did you get that? $5,000 got you 270 gold coins. 270 gold coins in today's dollars is $800,000. Golly, guy. We were so, like, when you think of the Roaring Twenties, what do you think of? I think of parties. I think of the Charleston. I think of swing dancing. I think of parties. I think of celebrations. New Year's celebrations. I think of cars. People driving like cars. I don't know. Like what do you think of? I think of 1920s. I think of swing dancing, the Charleston, Broadway, theater, lavish parties, champagne. You know, like this is what I think of the Roaring Twenties. Did they have jazz music back then? I don't know, jazz music? Like, I don't know. That's what I imagine the Roaring Twenties. The Roaring Twenties was the peak. All right. Now everybody says 1955 was a great time. When people think of the peak of America, people think of like the 50s. The 50s. They think of the peak of America as the 50s. What was the average? But even in I would say the 1955 was not bad. It was okay. See, this is when the price of gold started to go up, because this is when the government started to get out of line and they started to print dollars and create inflation and spend everybody's money. But we were still technically on a gold standard, so the government was still kept in check somewhat. So, but even this is pretty good too. 3,400. Divided by 35. 97 ounces of gold. That's still pretty good. 1955. Whoops. 3,400. The salary went down a little bit. So that got you 97 gold coins. That's still pretty good. I mean, that's better than what it is now. What did 97 gold coins get you? What is that? What is that worth in today's dollars? Wow, $320,000. Not as good as the Roaring Twenties, but that's still pretty dang good. $320,000. I'm a happy man. If I'm making $320,000 a year, I'm a happy man. That's a good paycheck right there. That's a good salary. So I'm sure anybody would be happy with $300,000 a year. So 1955 was a pretty good time too. And then I mean I could go. I mean I could. I don't know. I mean I could go more. But I mean that. I mean that's it right there. That is proof that Americans are broke today. Like your paycheck today does not get you shit. Does not get you shit. Your paycheck today only gets you 20 gold coins a year. That's all it gets you. That is all your paycheck gets you. 1925, your paycheck got you almost 300 gold coins. There is a huge difference between 300 gold coins and 20 gold coins. 20 gold coins is nothing. Compared to the Roaring Twenties, we Americans are broke. We make less than what we made back in the early 1900s, back in 1900. And that was considered a shitty time where Americans had a poor quality of life, life expectancy was low, quality of life was low, works work life was very stressful, and supposedly people were like living on the streets too. They were like living on the streets and you know sleeping in the slums. So yeah, and we are more poor than that. We are more poor than the industrial era. We are more poor than the industrial era. We are more poor than that era. When was the industrial era? Wait. End date 1840. I could have sworn industrial. Wasn't the industrial era? What? Really? No, 1900. Industrial America, 1876 to 1900. Yeah, that was the industrial era. And everybody looks back on the industrial era like that was a really shitty time. You know, people working like ridiculous amounts of hours and under really working really stressful conditions in factories and working long hours and just like not having any like leisure time, no luxury, no leisure time, always working long hours in the factory, getting your like hand ripped off by the machine that you're working on in the factory or something, getting your finger ripped off, living in the slums, living on the streets. We are making less than that. What was considered a shitty time, we are doing worse than that today. So I think that's everything, guys. I think that's all I gotta say. How long is this video? 34 minutes? So this is pretty much proof that Americans are broke. And yeah, like our paycheck does not get us crap. Like 20 gold coins, what is that, man? 20 gold coins? Like that's nothing. Compared to the 1920s, the Roaring 20s, the peak of America, we are broke compared to God, we were so rich back then. How did we mess it up? And according to people from the 1920s, like people were buying yachts. People were buying yachts, people were buying mansions. Um and supposedly the roads, everybody was so rich. It was like the roads were paved with gold. We were so rich back then, dude. We had it so good. And we found a way to screw it up. We found a way to screw it up. We were so rich and we messed it up. I don't know. Let's go to the downfall. Let's go to the downfall of America. I don't even know. What about what's another year I can do? The continued downfall of America. I don't know. What about annual salary 2000? What? $35,000 back in the year 2000. Price of gold 2000. 272? 35,000 divided by 270. What? Americans were wealthier in 2000 than 1955? That was that was the bottom though. That was considered the bottom back in 2000. That was the bottom of gold, but I've okay. In today's dollars, that's $420,000. What? Back in 2000, the average American. Back in 2000, the average American made $400,000. Back in 2000. So life was pretty good back in 2000. Dang. What happened? So even 2000 life was pretty good. Even in 2000 life was pretty good. Quality of life went up a little bit too. Quality of life went up a little bit from 1955 too. So 2000 was a pretty good time too. 2000 got you 129 gold coins, which is equivalent to $400,000 in today's inflation. Dang, $400,000? 2000 was a pretty good time too. That's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know. So, how did we go from 129 gold coins in 2000 to 20 gold coins in 2025? Jesus, we are broke. We went from 129 gold coins to 20 gold coins. We are broke. So 2000 was probably the last good time we had until things got really shitty. Probably after the 2008 recession, that's when things really went downhill. But dang, life in 2000 was pretty good too. It was actually really good, actually. $400,000 a year? I still think the peak was 1925. That was the peak of America. The Roaring 20s. I don't know. I think that's everything I gotta say. So, I mean, compared to how it was before, guys, I mean, you look at all the data right now. Looking at all the data right now, I think it's safe to say that Americans, like compared to the good old days, Americans are broke. Like compared to the good old days. Compared to the good old days, Americans are broke. Like maybe we are not the most broke. Maybe like compared to other countries like Africa or something, maybe we're not so poor, but compared to what we were before, we are poor. Like compared to how we were before, we are poor now. All right, but you compare it to rich country, or you compare it to like poor countries in Africa, maybe we're not so poor. But compared to how we were before, we were doing really good. We were very wealthy. We were very rich. Compared to how we were before, we are broke. So, thank you everybody for watching. Just what can people do? Get out of the dollar. Get out of the dollar before the government completely destroys the dollar. Get out of the dollar before inflation gets really bad, and preserve whatever purchasing power you have. Buy gold and silver. And then when the time is right, and gold and silver reach their peak, when the time is right, which should be, like, as I still believe to be 2028, should be, I will be mad if it's not, but should be 2028, that's when we are going to make the switch into stocks. So, thank you everybody for watching. Have a good one. Bye.